So now, any questions from this point on? I'd like to give both candidates a chance to answer.
I would like to know if the county will continue the block watch training.
Neighborhood watch.
Yeah, the question was, will the county continue the block watch training for neighborhood watch? And I think that goes hand in hand with this gentleman's question in terms of utilizing the volunteers. I'm sorry. One of the things that I want to do is kind of change the paradigm from us being the sole proprietor of public safety. We've always been historically, we'll take care of this. You go on about your life. You don't need to fuss about this. I want to change that from us being the sole proprietor to community, however defined, whether it's ethnically, geographically, religiously, taking ownership of their own public safety in partnership with us. So the volunteers have a part, and certainly the block watch and the neighborhood watch programs have a part in that as well.
I think Scott makes a good point, and I believe that actually as a sheriff he would do better than what we see now. Neighborhood watch used to be a whole lot more important. Now it seems to have fallen off the wayside again, and possibly it's coming back better right now. But it's extremely important because as you lay off not 120 deputies, which is what you hear about in the press, but literally hundreds of deputies which got laid off, because you had to lay off hundreds of on-call deputies before you laid off one full-time deputy. As you do that, you need other resources. You need the eyes and ears of the public telling you. And it goes a little further than that. It goes back to those volunteers that somebody asked about. The Sheriff's Department has been abysmal under John McGinnis in working with volunteers. I do think Scott would change that, but I think the point is, it's just been abysmal up to this point. It's something that I would definitely look to strengthen tremendously. I don't understand some of the business that this department has made in dealing with things such as like volunteers and being able to use them free, such as reserves. They just laid off hundreds of reserves, and I just don't even understand these things from a business standpoint. But yes, neighborhood watch programs are tremendously valuable.
Questions? We'll let Brett go first this time.
How do you feel about sanctuary city policies or sanctuary policies for illegal aliens and things like, I'm from LA, Special Order 40.
About
Special Order 40?
I'm not certain what that is.
It's a rule within LAPD that prevents officers from asking about the immigration status of a person while they are detained.
I think the idea or the existence of a sanctuary city is disgusting. It's illegal. It's the government turning its back on its responsibility, and it will never occur within Sacramento County. I can't help what maybe Sacramento City might do in the process, and who God knows with them, but it'll never happen in the county, I can tell you that. We won't tolerate it. The second part of the question was...
Special Order...
Oh, asking. I don't think it's proper to ask somebody their immigration status unless something takes you to that point. That's profiling. Meaning if I have, let's say, a Spanish-speaking man, and for no other reason, I'm going to make him prove that he's an American because he only speaks Spanish, that would be improper. But if other things tell me, as police officers that we learned, we build up things, and we have another piece of evidence, another piece of evidence, another piece of evidence, and I start to get to that point where I may think that's the issue, then yeah, as a law enforcement officer, if I believe this person is here illegally, now I have a moral responsibility to check into that.
And I feel much the same way in terms of, fundamentally the sheriff's duty is to enforce the laws. So if the laws exist regarding illegal immigration and so forth, that's my mandate. Whether the laws change or not, I don't get to be a policymaker and decide which laws are worth enforcing. We all sitting in this room don't get to choose which laws we obey based on whether we think they make sense. So I am against the sanctuary city for that reason alone. And I think Brett is on point with regard to asking them their immigration status if the contact leads to that point. But certainly that shouldn't be the first point of contact for a contact. In our jail currently, everyone that's arrested is interviewed for potential legal status by Immigration and Customs Enforcement right now. They take over that role inside our jail. So once they become arrested and go through that process, there is a screening process for that, and those people currently are, they're diverted into that process.
I hesitate to ask this question because I don't know enough about the subject.
Oh, good, I can lie.
So I'm looking to you guys to educate me, but I understand that the Sheriff's Department contracts a lot of employees, even though there's 120 that are on the street right now, or, let go. So particularly in the jail.
We don't contract anybody. I'm not sure, it may be a semantic issue. We don't have, as Brent alluded to, before we got rid of the deputies, by contract, we couldn't use any more reserve or on-call, temporary, intermittent, the retired annuitants, whatever they are, whatever category, we can't use any of those. We also had 234 vacancies that we were holding vacant to try and buffer us against the impending storm, financial storm, which are gone as well. We don't have any contract, all the people we have in the jails are deputy sheriff. So we don't have correctional officers. That's a whole separate discussion. But the problem with our layoffs is the jails are a mandated service. So when we have cuts, we can't cut corrections. We can only cut investigations, auxiliary services, field services, 911 responders, and that's exactly what's happening. Every other auxiliary program or non-essential program is gone. The only thing left is 911 responders and detectives. But we don't have any contract law enforcement employees.
The only thing I'd add to that is that, are you talking maybe about contracted law enforcement services like the Metro Cordova maybe? Or something like that?
No, that's why I prefaced the question the way that I did. I heard that maybe they were retired and then brought back, and they're getting pension and salary, and therefore...
Yeah, that did exist, and that does exist in the industry as a whole, not just in Sacramento County. It's very popular, and it's actually very helpful. But in this process, they had to let pretty much all those guys go before they could let the first.
Yeah, and if I could add on what Brett's saying, it's helpful and it's cost effective because that's the cheapest help we have. You have seasoned officers that are working for hourly wages without any benefits or anything. So we can fill in these spots. The 375 on-calls that we let go were about 120 full-time equivalent positions. So we staffed 120 positions with these less expensive help. We didn't pay benefits, which of course is almost up to 50% of the cost of a deputy. So they are very cost effective. I mean, if you get past the getting paid twice and getting a pension and all that, they are cost effective, but all those are gone.